Welcome one, welcome all. Just give it a few minutes for everyone to jump in. Everyone, be about 5 people. Give it a few minutes. Evening, Aiden. How are you, sir? Hope you're well. So let me just go live on Instagram quickly. I know a few people wanted to. Oof. Oh, my throat. Here he is. Long time no hear. Long time no see. Mr. Alex. Mr. Kardashian. Yeah, well, good-ish. Mrs. has got COVID. I think I've got it today. I've got a really bad throat. So excuse me for many coughs that are about to happen. Oh shit, I'm alive. I'm alive, yeah. I'll try my other phone. So we'll get started in a few minutes, guys. Just waiting on a few more people to join. And we talk about everything grading. Only grading. Only grading. When I jump on Instagram now, people think I'm going to be speaking about something else, which is not the case. Oh, why is my thing not working? Oh, I'm live now. Ah, Instagram is down. Okay, that makes sense now. I wonder what was happening. I'll leave that. Right, all right then. Forget Instagram. Leave that there just in case. Right. Thank you. Oh, fucking sorry. All right, it's just back. It's just gone now. It's back. Yeah, it looks like it's not a lot of people. Good evening, everyone. On Instagram, I'm live on Twitch and YouTube now. Just going to be talking about grading, what to grade, why people grade, where to grade, everything like that. So if you are interested, make sure to click the bio and join us on on Twitch and YouTube. And like I said, just going to be talking about grading tonight. Help a few people out and hopefully answer a few questions about grading. So if you are wanting to learn more about grading, the process, the companies, the pricing, head over to my YouTube and Twitch page now. I'm literally about to start in about 60 seconds. And if you've got any questions about grading, come join us. So I'll leave it there, and I'll hopefully see you on Twitch or YouTube. See you later, guys. Bye. Right, that's that done. Good evening, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. Hello. Right, guys. Welcome. Today is everything about grading. Most of you know that I offer a service, a middle person service, to the likes of SGC and PSA. I'm always getting questions on, what do people grade on costs, on turnaround times, on any question that you can think of related to grading. I get asked on a daily basis, so I thought it'd be hopefully good to put in one place. So I'm gonna try not to read too many of the comments yet. I just want to. There's a bit I want to say in terms of why people grade, the grading companies to use, and then if there's questions, I will if I can answer, if it's in line with like what I'm speaking about at that time, then I'll answer the question. But if it's about something completely different, then I'll probably just ask for you to re-ask it at the end. So, hi guys, Leon, hello, Aaron, hello, Moses, Ray, hello. So, firstly, just to start off, my partner's got COVID. My partner's got COVID. She's better now. She was bad for a few days. I've been showing up negative, but I think today I might have got it. So I'll be coughing quite a lot on the stream. So I do apologize for that. I do apologize for that. I'm drinking a lot of water. My throat is really scratchy. Hopefully it doesn't develop any more than this, but we'll see. So where I wanted to start with is why people grade. And people grade for different reasons. Firstly, because it's always usually the first comment when I say, or when people ask the question, why do people grade? There's always a comment of, well, you don't need to grade. And absolutely, like, it's your own collection. You don't have to grade cards. It depends on what the purpose of the grading is. So one of the main purposes, and especially why the majority of people, or the majority of cards that come through to me, are for people to sell on. So value wise, it's usually more valuable in a slab of some sort, so in a holder, than it is if you sell it raw. Raw meaning that the card is not protected. It's just as you get it out of the pack, that's what you call raw. Obviously, you can put it in a penny sleeve and top loader for a little bit more protection. But I think one of the main reasons that maybe people aren't aware of, and we'll get to this when we talk more about the grading clubs, the grading companies, is the authenticity. So, for instance, PSA have a guarantee that that card's authentic, and if it's not authentic, then there's remedies to do that. So, when you get into more specialized cards, when you get into autographs, when you get into vintage cards, there's a lot there with a guarantee. It gives a lot more confidence to the buyer of that card compared to if that card was raw. So, with eBay, again, they now are authenticating cards over a certain price to make sure that that card is real. I believe they're using CSG for that. Unless if that card is graded, then it doesn't need to be authenticated because it's already authenticated by one of those big companies. So one of the reasons why people grade cards is the value. One of the reasons is for authentication. One is just for protection, and some people just like the look. But depending again on what your preference is, will dictate which grading club you should go to. Now, obviously, if you have a preference, then you go to whatever your preference is. If you're looking for the most value historically, and when I say historically, I mean in the recent past, PSA are the ones that offer the most value. What I want to do, because obviously there'll be a comment, well, this sold for more in this, then this sold for more in a SGC slab than it did in a PSA. What I'm taking is the whole market is a metric, not specific cards. If I had a 1-of-1 on card Lionel Messi and it was in a slab that no one heard about, that card's still going to hold a lot of value. And if there's a collector who wants that specific card, he will pay whatever it is. He's not going to pay, oh my god, it's in this slab, I'm not going to pay for it. So it matters more in the quantity of how many cards are out there in the market. If this person's not bothered, yes, you'll pay for whatever it is because you want that specific card. There's a difference between a collector and an investor. A collector just wants the card, and not necessarily bothered about what slab it is. Again, talking high level here, it's not on specific people, but the collector will just want the card, whereas an investor will judge the assessment based on what card it is. If they see it in a slab that they've never heard of, the likelihood is they may crack and they may resubmit under a more notable brand. So just going to leave it there for a sec because I know I can see a few comments, but like I said, I won't be able to answer all the questions because I kind of want to get into a rhythm. I'll leave most of the questions till the end, but if there's something relevant to what I'm saying, then I'll pick that up. Have you ever experienced using the crossover service? I'd like PS. So we'll get to that, Pingus. But yes, I've done the crossover service a few times with varying success. So we will come to that definitely. Trying out Twitch, probably the last time you'll see me on Tuesdays. Going back to work officially tomorrow. Oh man, no. Well, it's been good to have you. Anyway, Leon, very knowledgeable guy in the hobby. Make sure you follow Compton Cards. Aiden would definitely get onto CSG. Definitely get onto CSG. Josh, average gamer, mate, you're a good guy, but why are you a sponsor at UK? So I'm not a sponsor, I'm just a vendor. First and foremost, I'm not really going to get into that. Like I said, whatever's happening there is there. Just to because I thought I may get asked this question. My thing is always about servicing people. That's literally what my business is. So where that business is, that's where I'll be. What's happening now is happening, whether it's meant to happen, whether it's not meant to happen. It's it is what it is. Like, I'm Switzerland in this. I don't like conflict. I've talked to most people talk to me. Most people value my opinion because I try and be as neutral as I can. I try and be as neutral as I can, because for me it's a hobby, but it's also my business as well. So I get when people have had certain experiences. What I will leave it at is I'll leave it at this. There's people who, let's say if you take me for example, there's people who don't want me to go to the show, right? There's people who do want me to go to the show. I'm not talking about who's instigating what's happening now. I'm not talking about who the prosecution is, who the defense is. I'm not talking about any. I'm talking about the people because that's all I care about. So there's people who do want me to go to the show. There's people who don't want me to go to the show. There's people who have already said they're going to send me their card. They want me to meet in person, which a lot of people now actually do. I meet in person, and it's a lot easier to when these facilities in place. So I'll leave it at this: is that regardless of whatever I do, there's gonna be, and this is a metaphor that I use for most things in life, is that there's gonna be three people that will accept what I do. There's gonna be three people that don't accept what I do. There's gonna be four people that absolutely don't care. So there's no winning. What I'm trying to do is to be able to do the most that I can and make sure my values and what I stand for is prevalent. And that's it. That's it. Like I said, I don't really have much to say on the topic. The only other thing is, because now you got me going. The only other thing is we're talking about things like this, right? When in the States they're doing these big fantastic shows, they're making multi-million pound, deals. Fanatics have bought Prism, Drake's getting into cards. These are things that actually elevate the hobby. And what I do and what I want to do is elevate the hobby in the UK. That's literally one of my only goals, is to elevate the hobby. Things like this don't do that. Because there's no end point. It's a back and forth. Now, if there was a solution, then we can have conversations to see what we can do, we can make it better. But when it's a back and forth, you can't have that. And while all these big things are going on, we're talking about trivial stuff, which I'm not saying is not relevant, but I'm saying what's the end? What's that thing that's going to happen when all this is done and dusted? My thing is always about elevation. So because that's not uh happening, like I said, I don't have much more to say on it. But so I do appreciate what you're saying, Josh. Like I said, thank you. And if anyone has any other comments, please feel free to message me. I probably got about 50 unread messages at the moment, so it might be a while to before I get to you, but I will. And like I said, it's you just can't you can never please everyone. So if that means people disagree with what I say and do, that's absolutely within your right, within their right to do so. But that's probably going to be the last I speak on it. But hope you're all good, and that's it. Hello, mate. How's it going? Yeah, cheers, Ryan. Yeah, yeah, definitely best to DM. Nice one, Alex. Yeah, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that, mate. Yeah, agree, Martin. No place in the hobby. We kind of all just want to, I think most of us, kind of just do want to get along and kind of move on. And no one's gonna like everyone. I mean, I think there's a lot of new people, new experiences, but the people who either um the people who do, like, one of my previous roles was complaints. So I used to get the crap every day, all day. So I get why people get the way they do. But it's about resolution at the end of the day. And if there's a resolution, I'm all for a resolution. Absolutely all for a resolution. I'm not for back and forth. I don't do it in my daily life, and hopefully I think that's why people um uh I would say respect what I do, because I don't need to pick a side, like, because again you just can't please everyone. But anyway, back to back to it. Otherwise we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about that all day. I take it you got some drawings. A few, Jay. uh um yeah, a bit. I'm sure I'll have a few messages after this as well. But again, I'm all everyone. I'm just for the good cause. So anyway, back to grading. So why people grade? I think so. We've covered that. Why people grade? Value, for authenticity, for protection, and there's a lot of people who don't grade, just because they don't they don't feel that someone else, whether it be a company with experience or not, has the right to tell me what the value is, or tell me, sorry, the what my card is worth, what the value of my card is, what condition my card is, because companies can get it wrong, and companies have got it wrong, has under my watch. So I get why some people as well don't grade, and if you don't, again, that's your solution. For me, for me personally, I prefer graded cards, just because I think it adds value to cards, and because I like to, whether I want to invest in something now to sell in 10 years, whether I want to invest to flip in 3 months, whether I just want it there. To protect it. I'm also a neat freak. I like them all in order. So all my nice cards, I would want all my nice cards graded. Um, so with excuse me. So with that being said, I personally I grade cards because I believe it adds value to it. Now, depending obviously on what grade you get, depends on the added value that you would get. But I think especially in the UK, because this is so new to us, in 6-7 months time, everyone's going to have a lot more graded cards, because it's easier to transact in graded cards, whether it is just as simple as shipping to another place, whether you're physically carrying it to, let's say a show, whether you're shipping it, whether the other person, whoever they are, just wants it because it's more authentic. It's authenticated by it being in a slab. It just makes things a lot more easier, personally, when it's in a slab. I think all of us have had situations on eBay, for instance, where we bought a card raw and it's not in the condition we thought it was in. And my perception of that, or the reality of that, is if the card was good enough to grade, likely wouldn't be on eBay. It would have likely have gone to a grading card company. I've had it. I've had cards through me, and obviously I won't mention names. I won't say anything. But I've had cards come through me, it not knowing that it's not going to get a good grade. I then give a pre-grade to that person. A pre-grade is basically just my estimation of what I believe that card will get based on the grading standards, and then it goes on eBay. I've done it. Like I've done it. If I give myself an example, I've bought cards, wanted to grade the cards. If it's not good enough for grading, I'd then put it on eBay. Simple as that. So with graded cards, it brings the added value that this is the value I expect. I expect this card to cost £1,000. If it's in a slab, it's a grade 10. It's gonna be £1,000. If it's raw, obviously the value's lower anyway. But I don't know whether that card is rightly a £200 card, or if it's a £10 card, or if it's a £50 card, whatever. So it really depends. It's more of a risk buying raw cards than it is buying graded cards, if that makes sense. uh, oh yeah. So Asian Punk, like, so this is, I think I think be, so one of the reasons where I think grading will go to another level, whether it's PSA, BGS, CSG, SGC, MGC, SGC, whoever, there's still an element of subjectivity, a big element of subjectivity in grading, right? So because there's that element of subjectivity, uh, a card which should be a 10 may get an 8, or a card that got an 8 should be a like these I've had many situations where I'm like, really? Like I said last week, I had, it was um my pre-grades, and I'm going to go through the grading scale as well, by the way. My pre-grades are, I'd say, pretty accurate. I'd say 95, 96% I get spot on, or it gets better than what I expect. But there's still this element of subjectivity, and PSA actually explain it well on their website, and hopefully it'll give more people more context when I show you that, of why, oh, Aaron said it should be a 10 and it actually got an 8. It's like, because eye appeal is such a strong factor, in because eye appeal and is such a strong factor in grading, you will get variance in grades, which it shouldn't be. It should be, this is what the card is. This is what it. This is it. It's got 4 sharp corners, no scratches. The edges are perfect, and it's very well centered. It's a 10, right? It should be, but because there is that element of subjectivity, there's always going to be this debate on, should you not grade cards. Secondly, is that PSA, for instance, if we take for example PSA, they they're hiring a lot of graders to keep up with that demand. So a grader who is 1 month into a job compared to a grader who's 15 years deep in the job could have a different perspective on what's the cards graded, right? And they're graded. PSA have opened up a new facility. They're getting a lot more people. So you're waiting for these people to get more experience. Now, what I expect to happen is the technology level to rise. It narrows the it narrows the chance of getting a poorer or an incorrect grade. So the percentage of probability is going to be lower the more technology is introduced, right? That's not there now. Um, I would say if I was to give it a percentage of the cards that I expect compared to the grades I expect compared to the cards that come back, I would say probably I would still say it's over 90%. Like 90% I expect. Like I said, because I get 90 personally, I get 95% right of the cards I predict. Um and because of that, like I think they get it right more often than not. And obviously, I won't be saying that if it was 51-49 because that's still more often. But if it was close to 50-50, you'd be a bit skeptical. But because it's I would say it's well over 90%. There's always going to be this margin of error, which again, just for sorry, the people who joined, I think I may have COVID. My girlfriend's had it for the past week, and she's not been feeling well. A really tight chest, and she said this is how it started. So I do apologize. I keep coughing. so like I said, with grading and PSA, because there's the element of subjectivity. There's always going to be people disagreeing with their final score, but overall, they do get it. They do in my experience, because I do get to take a second look. Someone will look at the card and they think, "Well, I think it's an 8-9." I'll look at it and I'll be like, "Yeah, I agree, it's 8-9," and then it comes back an 8 or 9. That happens 90% of the time, over 90% of the time. So largely they do get that right, but I do definitely see why people wouldn't and why people will question it. But for me, yeah, they get it more right than they get it a lot more right than they do wrong. And any company has a margin of error. I've got stuff wrong at MGC, not MGC, sorry, SGC. I've got things wrong, not things wrong as in not what was expected. All of them. So I did. So yeah, I get it. Like I said again, for anyone new, I'm not going to be able to keep up with the comments. So if you got a question, you just may need to feel free to put it in a few times. Aaron, I don't know if you can, or Aiden, if you see a few questions, just kind of alert me, and I'll try and I'll try and I'll try and catch it as well. So I'm just trying to go through some questions. And yeah, CSG mentioned a few times, so we'll go with that. Evening, John, mate. You okay? Right. So now moving on. So that's why people grade. Um, so that's why people grade. Now who are the people to grade with? So there's many more companies now than what they were before. So I'm gonna focus on PSA, SGC, CSG, MGC. Notable mention to HGA. Personally, I don't like HGA. I know there's a lot of people that do. What what puts me off HGA is I hear a lot more negative stories than I do positive stories about HGA. I personally don't like, and what I mean by personally, I don't like it. But if there was the demand for it and people wanted it, I would offer it as a service. But I don't see the USP. I don't see the unique selling point over going to one of the other grading card companies. Having a you know um designed slab, custom slab, I don't think it's enough, because I think every other company that has come out since the hobby boom do some sort of custom type design. So I don't think that's unique enough. I don't think they've got the experience or the value in the slab. And that's just my personal opinion. I know people really like HGA. I know people only have HGA slabs. I know it's. I know for a lot of people they see it growing a lot more, and there will be another company. I think it's going to be CSG, but there will be another company to rival the big three. Let's say. So yeah, we be doing BGS when they. Yeah, the reason why I'm not doing BGS now is because it's just too long. It's just too long. 6-7 months is a turnaround for the lowest tier. Like that needs to come down considerably. I don't want people waiting half a year to get the cards back. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not doing BGS yet. But BGS are one of the top two biggest companies in this market. So I will be doing BGS, but it's not going to be till they either significantly reduce the price or significantly reduce their waiting times. I'm still waiting, and I know people are still waiting on PSA. And I know people are still waiting on PSA from like 2020. I'm still waiting on one from 2021. But in terms of submitting now, it's between, depending on what service you use, it's between 10 days and 6 weeks with PSA now. Whereas BGS it's 6 months. So there's not even a comparison there. Footwiz, Footwiz says he laminates his card. It's cheaper. It's definitely cheaper. HJ started well, and I wanted to believe in them, then they fell off. And I think that's the thing with business. Is there's going to be a point because it's new, people will love it, but have they built this sustainable business model? Have they built this model that's actually going to get them through all the rough times, all the arguments? Because people in the hobby are very specific, and they care very, very much about their collection and their cards. Um, so I remember when HGA come out and people were absolutely loving it. I never liked HGA, but I just yeah I just didn't like HGA from a collecting standpoint, but a lot of people did. A lot of news started to come out with them, and the waiting times went up, they went down, but they were new, and they did this lot. They were the first to do the lottery system. Or out of these new guys, they were the first to do the lottery system. So I got it, but I didn't think it was sustainable, and it's kind of it's not been. Whereas the other companies, um, I think are the other companies I think have just got that much more about them that HJ is just a company that seemed cool. Seemed right. Oh, they're doing something a little bit different. So because they're doing different, we're gonna buy into that difference. But it wasn't enough of a differentiator to sustain it long term. If that makes sense. Sometimes I just speak words and they don't make sense. So the other company, another other notable mention is MGC, our guys in the UK. Again, they're starting off new. There's people who love them, there's people who don't, right? But I know Jake is a British business, so I'm gonna support. We need someone over here now. Do I use MGC? Will I use MGC for valuing cards? Personally, no. And I've told Jake that. For me, because my priority is grading higher end cards, and higher end cards, my higher end cards go to PSA. For cards that I want to quick flip, I go with SGC, and those are the two companies that I use. And soon I'll be using CSG, which I will detail very shortly why. So, sorry, so many comments. Sorry, guys. So there is an AI grading company, which I've been keeping close tabs on, John. It's called I think it's called AGS grading. Let me. And like I said, there's going to be people who hate MGC. There's going to be people who love Jim's MGC. But regardless, every company has to start somewhere. They're making good moves. They're uh, AGS, yeah. Cheers, Aiden. I thought it was, and so they're doing this AI rating. So they could be the next big thing. They seem. I know they're at the Mint Collective, which is just. I think they were at Mint Collective. No, they were at Mint Collective, which is the event, which looks an amazing event. Catch it on YouTube. Which has just happened in the States, of all basically what's about to happen in the hobby, and all the grading card companies were there. So AGS could be another new one that might just rock up and take over the show. So again, a notable mention. Keep them in your mentions. The um, the the next thing that I wanted to go through is the so yeah. Sorry to recap. Um, the company that we're going to be focusing on is PSA, SGC, CSG, and that's it. That's it for now. But if you do have questions about the others, leave them in the comments and we'll go through the questions. So now, what to look for in cards. So this is one of the things I want to help educate other people for. So me personally, I when I in my previous pricing, I included uh, pre-grades within the cost. I've now stripped it out. That being because I think it's not difficult to grade a card. Now the pre-grades, just to touch on pre-grades. Why do pre-grades? Like, who am I? I'm not been in the hobby for um 20 odd years and stuff like that. But like I said, first of all, my pre-grade percentage is over 95%. But at the same time, I know people enjoy that second opinion. Some people question themselves. Some people say, "Oh, I don't know what it is." But a lot of people are now coming and saying, "Well, actually, yeah, this is." Some people just want me to confirm what they've already graded it at, which is fine, can still do. But if you understand the grading standards, I don't think it's needed. Now, the what we'll move on to is why use someone like me. Like, people do, and I'll go through the reasons to go to a middle person and not to go to a middle person. So we'll go through that as well. But in terms of grading cards, we look at cards all the time. It's very easy to know when something's wrong. The simplest thing is to get the card. I don't know what I got. Get the card and just look at it, and you can see if there's something wrong because your eyes are drawn to certain things. So let me get the grading standards up, which again just on PSA. Just on PSA.com, PSA 10-point scale, and this is largely, a recognizable scale. Most you go through the other companies, they will have something very, very similar, if not exactly the same. But what you're looking for, there's 5 elements to what you're looking for. There's the corners, the edges, the surface, the centering, and eye appeal. So the perfect card, yeah, the perfect card with PSA is a bit different because they allow for off-centered cards. But if we just have in mind a perfect card is 4 really sharp corners. So these corners are really sharp. Let me just show you something where it's not sharp. Just to give you a... So if you see these corners are rounded, right? Hopefully you can see. I don't think you can see. Is my arrow on there? You can't see my arrow. But if you look at the top left corner, it's a rounded corner. Whereas you look at the PSA 10, the corners are sharp, so it's got a point to it, right? So you're looking for 4 sharp corners. The surface, you're looking for a clean surface. Again, I'm just because all the grading card companies will have different aspects of what they do, so I'm just going off a perfect card. Perfect card, surface is absolutely clean, flossy, flawless. It's beautiful to look at, no scratches, no stains, no nothing. The edges, usually you can see with, I've not got any thick cards, but on thicker cards, it makes more of a difference. So if you're looking at the edge of the card, for instance, so here, the edge of the card. There could be some whitening or chipping or some damage towards the edge. Obviously, if you've got a perfect 10, the edges are pristine, they're beautiful. And then eye appeal. Eye appeal is and sorry, centering. Centering was the last one. So centering again, because this has got a border, so it's easy to see. The one on screen's got a border, so it's easy to see. It's everything's centered perfectly. Again, PSA have an allowance, so it has to be between 60-40 off centered to on center. Excuse, and yeah, as Compton said, edge fray as well. So you want to so once you understand that, once you know what that perfect card looks like, then you know, okay, if my ideal is this card is perfect. Eye appeal, sorry, let me just go back. Eye appeal is you're looking at the card and you can't spot anything wrong with the card. It just looks flawless. So the way the corners, the centering, the edges, surface are looked at is then it's looked under 10x magnification. So I've got my yes I do. So I've got one of my little geeky tools is a jeweler's loop, which is 10x magnification. So under magnification, I can then see closer to the if there's any specific image on the card, so you can tell a lot more what the corner, how the corners are, how the edges are, if there's any surface scratches. You can tell it a lot more with this, but overall, you look at the card and you first see if there's anything draws your eye to something, and if something draws your eye, then you're probably not going to get a 10. If it looks flawless, then you go to the next level, which you use in magnification, and you'll check the corners, the edges, the surface, the centering, and yeah. So that's it. Let me just go back to a few questions. Hiya, Max, mate. I think there's for Belicious, yeah, I think there's a lot of card, mate, that are still outstanding from graded gem, unfortunately. Not sure why. They just seem to be at the bottom of the pile. I know my cards from 2021 are still outstanding. They're still not moved from February. So it was the lowest service, the value service, the bulk service. I'm still waiting. I think it's in assembly now, but it's been in assembly for like 3 weeks. And yeah, it was in research and ID for the longest of time. So yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think. I don't know whether it's because of graded gem. I don't know whether I have no idea, but it's obviously there's a lot of people still waiting for the cards, which is unfortunate. CSG changing the labels will help. They actually have a good feel plus. Yeah, Leon, I agree with that. Put some respect on. Yeah, definitely put some respect on MGC's name. Quality guys. To me, I could. So in a few weeks, basically, what I'm going to do is similar to what other middle people do. Is you can send it in however you want, but I'm going to start giving discounts to people who just send in semi-rigid. Uh, it just saves on plastic. Like the amount of top loaders that I get after a submission is insane. I don't mind you sending them in top loaders because I won't charge extra, but you'll get a discount if you send them in semi rigids because again it just saves on plastic. I still really like the second pair of good eyes on it though you've picked up. You should make a podcast. Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah, and that's what I really wanted to do with this video is I don't want to overly promote me as a service. What I want is people to understand what it is, because I always think there's going to be a need for a middle person. I always think there's going to be a need for me because people like simplicity and people like convenience. So I'm convenient to use. Not to say that you can't do it yourself. I'm just more convenient. Nando's has got sauces and rubs that you can make your own Nando's chicken, but I prefer to go to Nando's most sometimes. Do you know what I mean? So like, and I've got people who come through me who also submit through someone else or who also submit for themselves. It just what works out better for you. It's and like I said, in the long term, I'd hope more people at least start checking the cards just so they can see for themselves. So when you are checking cards with shows, because we're going to have more shows in the UK, you'll get to know the qualities that you need for it to grade higher. And then if you always want a second opinion, I'm always going to be here. Whether it's just you send me a message or or you actually submit cards with me. Like I'm always happy to help, but I'd like to help educate people more in what to look for, just so they've got the whole idea, the whole picture of what grading is, what to look for, the prices, and then we take it from there. Do not use or send loaders on my. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I don't send them in top loaders. But you can't. Yeah, you can't basically. You can't send in top loaders to PSA or mags, and you don't want to send it in mags. Mags is another thing. So Leon's got me on mags. Like I've recently had a few cards in mags delivered to me in mags that have damage. Mags damage cards. So you don't. If you're sending them to me, or if you're sending them to someone else, don't put them in the mag because it damages the card. So even if you're not using grading, for instance, if you're selling a card on eBay and you send it in a mag, if that then if that card is then damaged, that person's as I suppose has a right to send it back because it's a damaged card because then they cannot grade the card. So just as is a rule, do not send cards anywhere in mags. Not it doesn't always damage it, and the right size cards sometimes it's fine, but just as a rule, I won't ship in mags. They look nice if you for your personal collection, and if you're storing them, they look really cool. But not to ship, not to ship. Like I say, it's not for it. It doesn't happen all. I've had two cards. Oh, my battery's about to die. I've had two cards. I've had a few cards recently in mags, which were absolutely fine. But I've also had cards recently which have not been fine. So I try and take that risk out of the equation and don't ship in mags. Mags look good for display. Some mags now allow sleep. Yeah, for display they look good. Or use mags that hold a sleeve. Yeah, and if you, what I would say is again, this is just for a grading purpose. If you're sending it with me, I would say top loader, at the minimum, if not semi rigids, no more than that, not a mag. Because again, it's just a lot, and mags are expensive as well. Like mags aren't cheap, so you might as well save the mags and send it in a top load of bit of masking tape or in a team bag, and you're good to go. Right. So grading scale. So uh that is things to look for. I'll tell you actually one thing that I'm picking up on more and what a lot of people will miss, and it's happened a few times in my most recent submissions. So scratches on the card, scratches or creases can automatically take your card from a 10 to a 6. So it's very important. And again, we'll go through it on the grading scale. So if you look at, so this is a Gem Min 10, and we won't go through because I've gone through it. So you just got to believe in me. Believe that I'm telling you the truth. So we go to a 9, minor printing imperfections, slightly fraying of the cards. That's an 8, minor printing imperfections, slightly off white borders. We go to a 7, minor printing blemish, picture out of focus, loss of gloss. And then we get to a 6. Excuse me. And where is it? A very light scratch Can I highlight the words? No, I can't highlight the words. So second sentence, a very light scratch may be detected. That wasn't on any of the other grades. So that grade can automatically go from a 10 to a 6 if it's got a, or lower, if it's got a crease or a scratch on the card. Now, what comes into that is also eye appeal. So if it's a massive scratch, it will get a 6. If it's something that they can't really see, it probably won't get a 6, but it won't get a 10 if it was under magnification. So that's a massive thing that if you're looking at cards yourself, take that into consideration. That a scratch is not a printing line or an imperfection. A scratch is a scratch. So if it's a scratch or a crease of the card, it can significantly reduce the chance of you getting a good grade of the card. So I need to charge my laptop. Hold on. I have to leave that for a sec. I put out the right thing. Oh shit. Am I still here? Pulling out the wrong one. Someone just comment I'm still live. I actually don't know. I don't know if I turned my camera off accidentally. Oh man. Just one comment. Let me know I'm still here. Oh, you're all falling asleep. Fair enough. Cheers, Ryan. Thank you, mate. Cheers, Glitch. Cheers, guys. Right. So that was one thing to Martin. That's one thing to take in consideration when looking or when sending in cards. And again, it's not even if you're sending them to me, if you're sending them yourself, make sure to familiarize yourself with the grading scale. So if you are submitting yourself or if you are sending it to another submitter, you know the key indicators, because even at the even to take another point of view, like if you're looking for a second opinion, or if you're looking for a pre-grade, maybe not just a second opinion, maybe you're looking for a pre-grade, and if you notice a scratch, you know that it's not going to grade well, so you don't want to send that. If you're just sending the card and you're just like, yeah, pre-grade it, and it doesn't, then this card's just going to have to come back to you, and you may pay, if it's not me, if it's someone else, you may be paying extra in shipping just for a quick check of the card. Now, again, I get the convenience of it. Like, if it was me in another business and I know there was someone who could do the job better than I could, or because they got more time and they're dedicated to doing that, I would use someone else. Absolutely. But just because it's just easy to do that. Oh, that guy, he's got over 90% on his pre-grades. He's got great insurance. He's got great reviews of people. Why wouldn't I do that if it saves me time? Especially when it then comes down to cost. If it's only costing me a few quid extra, it just makes more sense. Like, again, I'm trying. We'll get to the whys and why nots of using a middle person in a little bit. But obviously, being doing that, I'm going to see the advantages and the advantages that I offer to people, but they're not going to be for everyone. I apologize if I'm looking at two different things. Like, I've got this little flip out on my camera, so I've got the lens here, and I've got this, but I like to look at myself, so I'm looking there. So that's the grading scale. So we've gone through what the value is, of why people grade the cards, the the grading scale. And now if we dive a little deeper into which companies to use, which companies not to use, or why do people use certain companies and not the others. So excuse me. There will be a pop quiz after. uh, yeah, Big Juzzle, as Aiden said, it's always best to take it. Personally, it's always best. If you get in the card graded. I mean, I'm gonna have to take it out anyway. So for safety and for risk, it's best to take it out. To do that. Galaza, hello, my friend. There will be a new form. There will be a new submission form which I'm working on. It's not the final form, but it's gonna go. The website's gonna be like end of April, I think. I've got no. What's the word? I don't think it's gonna be the time that it should be ready for. So I'm gonna have to adapt. I'm gonna have to adapt, but the website will be coming soon. So why do people use some companies and not other companies? So PSA, for instance, PSA is known for being the top of their industry in terms of grading cards. They by far grade the most cards, by far, and most cards are graded are sold at a higher value than the same card in a different company, the same grade in a different company. Again, it's if there can be certain cards that they might sell for more. But for instance, before I did this, I looked at a Jude Bellingham Sapphire base, and in a 10 in a PSA, I can't remember. I think it sold for like 230, and in an SGC 10, it sold for I think it was about 108. I think it was 180. So there's a price differential there. Excuse me. There's a price differential there. So that's why people tend to go for PSA, because it offers them more value, they're more reputable as a company. BGS was up there. They were actually at one stage higher than PSA. So PSA, Beckett was the most recognizable grading company, and then PSA came along. But in terms of the past few years, obviously Beckett's been closed, BGS is being closed, so their numbers have obviously fallen by the wayside, but there's still value in pristine 10s, Beckett 9.5s, but comparing a 9.5 to a 10, PSA 10, PSA usually nicks it, but BGS has subgrades which a lot of people like. PSA in the early, exactly just as Leon said, BGS was higher than PSA in the early 2000s. So it's the momentum has swung. PSA have realized that they've had to reopen. They were closed for a small period of time, but they've expanded the team. They've expanded the facilities. They've acquired companies to help facilitate what they do on a daily basis. So PSA are seen as the go-to. With that becomes the more expensive. Yeah, the more expensive than an SGC. Now, why do people go to SGC? People go to SGC. They good SGC handles vintage cards very well. Vintage cards look very good in SGC slabs too. Their turnaround times are really good. Their prices are a fifth of the cost of PSA, a quarter of the cost of PSA in the same value, in the same service tier. So why not go to SGC? My argument is usually when people ask me, do I send this to PSA or do I send to SGC, is do you want the money now or do you want the money later? So, that's what it was when PSA was more expensive. When PSA's turnaround times were a lot longer than what they are now. But SGC is in the last 2 months have become so quick in their turnaround times that I've now started to send more to SGC because I'm able to sell more. the some of you will have seen one of my previous videos where I sent 20 cards on the express tier. I've got them back. I've listed them on eBay. I've sold. I made 2K. So with that being said, that if that was PSA, I would still be waiting another few weeks to get those slabs back. Then I need to put them on to whichever to put them on eBay or wherever I sell them, to then sell them, to then get the money back. So it would have taken a lot longer. So now I can invest. I can put that £2,000 or $2,000 into one high end slab, or I can spread the cost, or I can grade more of my cards. So then in 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks, I've then got more money to spend and to play with. So SGC has a really good added value at the moment because of this the turnaround times. They're the quickest from any of the top 4 or 5 companies in terms of cost cost compared to turnaround. Anyone just joining again? I may have COVID, so I've got a very scratchy throat. Just coughing all over the stream. The majority of your cards from the 90s are BGS slabs. Influencers on YouTube changed it. PSA 10, okay. PSA 10 sounds better than a BGS 9.5. And a lot of people, like, for those who aren't in the know, 9.5 is the equivalent, people say in the hobby it's the equivalent of a PSA 10. And a pristine 10 BGS is higher than a PSA 10, but because it's very hard to get a pristine 10 from Beckett, which is all subgrades being 10. All subgrades being 10. So that's why people use SGC. That's why people use PSA. PSA Economy has a 5-week turnaround at the moment, at the expense of all of the people who have been waiting over a year. Yeah, I mean, it's the turnaround times for PSA. PSA have even sped up their current turnaround times. It's insane. My economy is about 60 days, so 5 weeks is that's really good if that's what you get in 5 weeks. Mine's been around 6. I've got one due back from PSA Economy within the next week or so. So, and that was sent in January, I believe, or the end of January. So yeah, mine's about 60 days. So about 8 weeks. Anyway, so PSA. PSA's pricing, and I'm trying to talk. I'll tell you what I'll do is, because I'm waiting for my laptop to charge, I'll talk about why to use a middle person, why people don't need to use a middle person. I think that is the best way to put it. Why people don't need to use a middle person, and why people do, and maybe why you should. So and then we'll go into. I want to show you the actual costs of it as well. Economy states it's 90 days, but coming back much faster. Yeah. Definitely coming back much faster. Best packaging to place semis in. I'll get to that, Des. Remind me after this. So, middle person. So me, literally, I just get cards and I'll ship them off to wherever. That is essentially my job. Essentially, what I do as a business is I take people's cards, package them, ship them to a grading company in the States, and that's all I do. Right? So, can anyone do that? Absolutely. Like, there's no magic formula. There's nothing there that's patentable. There's no real. I mean, I would say no. There's no real USP there, right? So everyone can do it. Everyone should try it. I mean, try to see. Try the process. See what you think. Know what to expect of the process. I get it. I get all that. So there's no need to go to a middle person. If you take each individual element, so you start with picking out your cards, checking them over, giving them a clean, giving them a wipe down, make sure there's no fingerprint marks on it, prepping them, put them in the semi-rigids, and then going on to let's just say with PSA or SGC, and filling in the form. So filling all the details in of what you want on the label, etc., etc. That is, it's easier to. I would say it's easier to do on SGC than it is PSA, just because SGC's process seems a lot simpler to do. But either once you've gone through it once or twice, it's irrelevantly relatively, that's the word, relatively simple process to do. So there's no need, to use a middle person at all. Why some people do is cost. If we start with cost, depending on how many you send, it could be cheaper to go through someone like myself than it would be for you to ship it. So if we just break that down, if you want to send one card, no pre-grades, no insurance, it's going to cost you, through me, it's going to cost you £27. £27. But that's for one card on my new pricing. That's with no pre-grades, no insurance. If you were to send the card, that same card to SGC, they charge $30, which is £23 per card. So you take that £23, you've got to ship that card. You've got to pay insurance. Now, and I'll explain later on as well, is there's now an additional fee for insurance through me, but I still take the majority of the insurance. I'm still paying for the majority of the insurance. So you've got to include shipping and you've got to include insurance into that £23 that you'll be paying to SGC. So the likelihood is it's more expensive to you send one. I think I've worked out as like maybe 3 cards to SGC. Let me start that one again. Blah, 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 blah. If you were to send it through me, it would be cheaper to then send it through for you to go direct. So it then makes more sense. Insurance is covered, shipping's covered. You don't have to fill in the information on the site. Done. So that's one reason, cost. The other is just convenience. From conversations, some people give me 10, 20, 30, 40 cards. That's a lot of work. Believe me, I stay up a long, doing submission week. It's a long process for even just one person going through their 40 cards, looking at what they can get, pre-grades, uploading the information. So it's just simpler. Some people just think it's simpler to write, okay, these are my cards, I'll fill in the form, I'll ship them off to Aaron, he'll do the rest of the work. Dealing with FedEx, dealing with customs, it's a daily, and people who are in my groups know this, it's a daily battle for me speaking with FedEx. Oh my goodness. Now there's 2 ways you can send to PSA. To SGC, you can send in any way. You can use DHL, but PSA, you use FedEx or you use USPS. That then comes with another benefit of a middle person is timing. I will only ship through FedEx, so it should take 2 or 3, 4 days to get to PSA. If you use USPS, you're usually going through Royal Mail, so it's taking at least a week, depending on if you use it in the quickest way, which is signed and tracked. It's taking at least a week to get to the States, and then however long it takes to get to PSA. So it could be a few weeks before your card gets there. Again, all scenarios, the different scenarios, different takeaways from it. So convenience, people go through me. As we've said before, second opinions. Some people, especially in the beginning, don't know what they're looking for, so sometimes they just want me to look over. And like I said, the people who tend to return is because I've given them the pre-grades. They've said, "Oh right, yeah, bang on." The cards have come back. Oh yeah, it was bang on. So they repeat that. So they repeat that process again. It takes the excuse me. It takes the risk of them getting it wrong. It takes the risk of them getting it wrong because well, Aaron's good enough. He's likely going to get it right or closer than I can get it, so I'll send it. Again, not for everyone. Like there's people. There's Lewis who's sent some absolutely fantastic cards for me. He doesn't require pre-grades. Like he'll just send him. It says right, you don't need to pre-grade these. Boom, shipped them out. And I think of the 10, I think 10 cards is sent. 8 or 7 have come back gem mint 10s. So he didn't need me. He just wanted to use me because it was just a simpler service, just to right here ship them off, do the work, and then jobs are good and send him back. So again, a middle person isn't needed. I would say the main reasons are is the main reason is convenience. It's just simpler to do. There's a lot of factors, but if you've got the time to submit to the grading card companies, then yeah, why not? Why not give it a go? Why not try? I know, or I'm confident enough in the service that I offer that it's always going to be a need. People are always just going to want something simpler to do and to offload the grunt work to someone else, and I'm happy to do it. Yeah, gold. So, funnily enough, so when I was looking at the Martins just said pristine is the pinnacle, gold label, SGC, which I've still not got one yet, are a pretty decent buy also. Gold label. When I was looking at the Jude, it was 230 in a PSA 10, $180 in a SGC 10. There was one prism, one gold label, which I think sold for $251. So it sold for a little bit more than, it sold for a little bit more than the PSA 10. But again, it's very hard to obtain. It's very hard to obtain that perfect 10. Like I said, I've not done it, and I sent like 1,000 cards to to SGC, so it's very hard to get. But it does add, again, it adds value if you do get there. So if you do get an SGC 10 in gold, I mean, obviously it won't be through me because I've not got one yet. But if you do get a gold SGC 10, it adds even more value to the card. So right, Steve. So I guess if we were to submit with you, we avoid upcharges as well. No, so the upcharge will then be put back on you. So what I would do is, the way it works is, you will let me know what service you want that card to go on. If I believe that it should be on a higher tier, so the next tier up, I'll obviously I'll let you know, and I'll say, actually, PSA say these cards up to $2,500. This, if you go on Express, you got up to excuse me. If you go on Express, you got up to $2,500. So that card, once it's graded, let me scale back. Declared value. Declared value is the card once it's back from grading. So if the card back from grading is worth 2,500 or less, you can put it on the Express tier, which is, I can't remember now, 46-week turnaround, let's just say. If the card was, if you wanted to go on the Express tier, which has a maximum value of 2,500, but the card's actually selling for 4,000, then PSA would say, right, it needs to go on the next tier. So I would then have the conversation with you, and I say, actually, it should be in the next tier rather than the tier that you've actually chosen. Number of reasons. Insurance. Like if you was to put a card on the Express tier at 2,500, you can only get maximum of 2,500 because you've that part's on you. So you have to tell me what the declared value is of that card. If you need help with it, I can help. But the declared value is something that you've got to tell me, because that's something I have to confirm. And for insurance purposes, I would only be able to give you the maximum of what that tier is. So it needs to be the right tier. So PSA will then determine the value of that card. So if they see that card that you're selling is above 2,500, they will then upcharge to the next tier. So let's say it's 100, and it's not, but just for ease of numbers, and my head's falling off soon. It's £100 for Express. It's £250 for Super Express. If PSA deem it to be a more expensive card than Express, they will charge you the Super Express price. So if you've paid me $100, again, just to keep things simple, I will then message you to say there's an upcharge. It's an extra $150, which will then take you to the next tier. Which will be the super express. So hopefully that's answered that, Steve. But I always say I've never had one conversation with anyone who's been disappointed with an upcharge, because an upcharge is likely you'll likely had a better grade than what you were expecting, and the card's valued more than what you expected it to be valued at. So it's a good thing, or it can be a good thing. Whether they should charge more for declared values, that's another question. Does it cost more for auto cards? It does. So it never used to. So there's two things. So with PSA, in January, it was actually the 13th of January, they added to their terms that if you were to grade the auto and the card, it's 20% more. So that's not a charge from me. That's a charge that PSA have put on there. So it's 20% extra to grade the auto compared to just grading the card. SGC don't grade autos unless it's a 10. So if there's an autograph on there, I can't there's not an option to choose to grade the auto. They will automatically do it if that auto was to get a 10. Hopefully that makes sense. One thing that I'll mention it now. One thing that I failed to mention, which was, or debating where I should mention it, is one of the reasons PSA is so people value it so much is the guarantees that come with PSA. The very excuse me. The guarantees that come with a card are a lot better than with other companies. So guarantees being, if the card is in a slab and it's not authentic, then I think there's 3 remedies, which again I'm paraphrasing now, so apologies, and I'm trying to remember all that I need to say. But there's like 3 remedies. They'll either give you the cost of what the actual value of that card is. They can give you the difference between the card that you have to the card that you should have, or they'll reimburse you whatever. So their guarantees are a lot better than other companies. The reason I haven't mentioned yet is because I haven't mentioned CSG. CSG are really big in the game. Like, they come from the comic book world. They've actually got a number of businesses all relating to grading. So CSG are actually a huge company in terms of what they've graded in the past. They come from comic books. They do Pokemon, do coins, notes. They grade a lot of things. So I expect a lot from them. They also have a very strong guarantee when it comes to authenticity of cards, or if they've made a huge mistake in terms of the value of the card. So again, it's also worth noting and looking at what those guarantees are. But that's one of the reasons why I'm actually looking more into CSG, because it's those guarantees that again over time hold value. So yeah. 5 cards with 45. Some of these comments I'm obviously coming in on. I've missed loads of comments. Does it cost the same for an auto card, even an auto card, then even without the auto being graded? So if there's an auto on the card and you don't want the card if you don't want the auto on the card, you don't want the auto grade on the card. There's an option just to grade the card, and they won't grade the auto at all, and that's just the normal price. So if there's an auto on the card, if that's what you mean, apologies if it's not. If there's an auto on the card, then you have to choose an option through me to say I want the card auto graded. Yeah. And if you select that option, it'll be 20% more. If you don't, just the card will be graded. No, I've not actually gone to CSG yet, mate. I'm just about to come to CSG. No worries, Steve, mate. I've gone all in on the buying boxes. Was it? You get anything good? So you get. I mean, it's not. So Harry said, so you get upcharged, and apologies, Harry, just answering it now. So you get upcharged to the next tier, but don't benefit from the expedited grading times. What a con! I mean, if you look at it from PSA's point of view, like it should be on the right tier in the first place, and if it was on the right tier, you'd get the right times. Um, the upcharge only happens right at the end, so it's only once it's being graded, once it's been assembled, once it's been through checks, that then someone will be like, oh, actually no, this should cost more. So you then you don't. But at the same time, it's so yeah, I get what you're saying. Like that's the debate of should they be upcharging. It should be the upcharge in terms of the process. Like if you send it on I agree with them in terms of you send it on. If you send a card on economy tier, but it should be super express. That's you trying something there. Like again, that's not always the case because there's cards that I actually got an upcharge on something for someone where it was only $100 over the maximum of what it is. So it was like $2,600. But it's over the that's what the maximum is. That's over the maximum, so it got you. To be fair, there was two comps. One, no, there's three comps. One was about $3,100, and but the rest were like just within 100. So again, it was close. It's less than it was less than basically it was less than 10%. But that was the rules, and you kind of got to go with it. But again, it does go to the argument of upcharges and should there be upcharges, but if they're there, I don't necessarily agree that I don't necessarily disagree with them that they should then expedite it because it's a whole change of process. You've got to be notified. I get notified usually what happens with PSA if there's usually what happens with PSA is once it's done they'll charge the card. If there's an upcharge, they have to ask me first whether I accept the upcharge, and at that stage I'll look at comps. I'll make sure what they're saying is true is correct. I'll be like, okay, and then I accept it. Then they charge the card. They can't do that automatically. So yeah, but I also think that again, so not defending PSA. I also think there's ways that they can improve that process, which hopefully they're looking at and they will do. Don't start the upcharge debate. Racist. What does any auto need to get a 10 just to be fully on sticker? Not smudge. I mean, again, this is so for me. It's have I got any auto cards? Oh. So that like you said, it's not smudged. It's fully on sticker, and like I said, so I didn't ask for this to be graded by SGC because it was fully on sticker, not smudged. There was no like faintness. It doesn't go off the edge. It gets a 10. I think that's really all. That's really all. That's why I always say it's not necessary. It's not always necessary to grade the auto, but with SGC, you don't get a choice anyway. CSG involved with the Knights. Yeah, and we're about to move on to CSG. What's the shipping recommendation to you when using hopefully you mean semi rigids? So I'd put it in. Again. People ship in a variety of ways to me. How would I do it? I would do. I would do it in obviously penny sleeve, semi-rigid, team bag, at least one bubble mailer. At least one bubble mailer, if not two. I don't think it's necessary because there's not much move because the semi-rigid, the team bag, um, the penny sleeve will keep it in a certain position. You don't need to go overboard with it. I see why people do, but there's not a need to do it. I would if you want to be extra safe, I would do it in like a. I'm trying to see what I've got here. It may be a small box. Again, it depends on how many you're sending as well. Maybe a small box. I have one thing that I do is I've got these, which are like sticky things. So when I'm shipping back to people, these like sticky things. Don't know what they call stickies. Call them stickies. Good old stickies. So what I do is then I put that on the bottom of the once the cards are graded, put it in one of these, put it in that, and then I have a letterbox box that I then stick it to, so then there's less movement. As long as there's some sort of protection after you've done it in the top loader, and then the bubble mailer, that has to be the bare minimum though. It has to have penny sleeve, semi rigid, bubble mailer, team bag. Yeah, no, I would say team bag, bubble mailer. For me, that's the minimum. That's what you need. Question in relation to landscape cards. Do you specify the direction you want the card, or do they just put it in the way they think? They just put it in. I've never been. That's the first time I've been in this like 2 years now, and I've never been asked that question, Max. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. So no, they don't specify. Excuse me. I'm guessing. I think they're all the same way. I think they're all put in a certain way to the way people see it. But actually, I actually don't know. There's not basically there's not an option to say I want it this way around. I don't think there is. How do I use your service? So Big J, I'm close for submissions now, but I'm open again on the 1st of April. There's going to be a submission form that you need to submit. I was supposed to have a new website, but it's not ready yet. But there will be a website which will make things a lot easier to do. I will release it on Thursday, Friday. On Thursday, I'll do my price list. I'll release my price list. There's going to be. I'm trying to work out an introductory offer. So yeah, I'm trying to do an introductory offer. So we'll see what that is. I'll see what I can do for you guys. But there may also be some free cards. So make sure anyone who's following me on Instagram, Instagram or Facebook, check because there's going to be a few offers for the next submission, it won't go until the 12th of April. So anyone who submits to me from the 1st of April, it's not going to go to PSA or SGC or CSG until the 12th of April because I'm going to the UK card show. Don't kill me. On the 9th of April, and I'm getting people's cards from there. So then I'll ship after that. It makes sense to ship after that. So 12th of April will when they be going to the States. Oh, I can see. I can open it. Oh, see, there's many worm cans about. There's many worm cans about. Completely not worth it to grade the auto. So don't. Just to change the subject, if you have bought into breaks in the UK, just check your bank account for any unauthorized purchases, uses. There you go. I just can't get into so much. Hi Perry. There are autos that get 10s that are not fully on sticker. Yeah, and there's autos that get smudged that are not fully on sticker as well. Again, I think a lot sometimes is down to the grader. I believe. But yeah. Anyway, what size bubble mailer? I think it's A6, A5. I think these are A5. Any graphic designers about? No envelope sizes or paper sizes. A6 maybe. I think it's A6. I don't know why I keep showing off my 8.5. I actually sold it though. I sold it for like 130 quid, $130. I'm not submitted any landscape cards. The OCD would go crazy. Can I give it to you at the show? Yeah, mate. Yeah, yeah. If you go into the show, one of the reasons why I'm going to the show, there's quite a few people who prefer just to hand it me in person, so that's absolutely fine. Just bring them along. Um, if you've not got any semi rigids or any protection, just let me know like a few days before. Yeah, just message me a few days before, and I'll make sure I'll bring extra so I'll know to take. I expect to take quite a few cards on that day. Right, SC CSG. CSG are excuse me. CSG are oh god. CSG I think are going to be my favorite company to grade with, depending on their turnaround times. So if I go back a year, I was really excited with CSG. Oh, so many acronyms. CSG. I was really excited with CSG. I didn't like the label, the green horrible label. I thought it was horrible. Um, but I love the slabs. I don't think I've got any. I've not got any around. Their slabs are really nice. They're nicer than PSA slabs, nicer than SGC slabs. They've got the nicest slab on the market for me. So if you've not had a CSG slab, have a look. I would say you need to buy one just to actually feel it compared to the others. But in terms of the actual slab, they've got the nicest slab, personally. The previous label was horrible. The turnaround times were horrible. They said it would be within, I think at the time, 25 or 30 days, whatever it was. It could have said 50 days. It turned out to be about 6 months before I got the cards back. It was horrendous. It was terrible. So I was really annoyed. I was really annoyed with them, and I didn't want to use them after that. And it was actually Aiden. Aiden told me that they were updating the label, so I've been trying to wait until it came about, and it has. Sorry, my throat is killing me. COVID. So, when they released a new label, I was like, done. We've got to. We have that's it. I'm sold now. They've got the experience of being graders, which is the most important. They've always been tough graders, which is good for two things. Same reason why is if you're a person who likes to crack slabs and send them to PSA because that's where you feel the value is. CSG are very tough graders from cards that I've personally sent them and cards that I've seen through other people as well. So for that purpose, I would. It was already a tick basically for me for SGC, for CSG. Price. The prices are absolutely on point. They also do bulk submissions. Now, this is where the benefit of coming through me is going to be if we start doing CSG. So the bulk minimum is 50 cards. Not a lot of people have 50 cards. No, sorry, we've all got probably about 64,000 cards just in one box. But in terms of gradable cards that you'd want to send in, 50 cards is a lot. So with it being a group submitter, you're able to send in just one card, and I can guarantee it'll get on the bulk submission. So it'll only cost you. I've just done the pricing. It's going to be £12.50 per card. That's only I think for this first submission, so I'm still working out costs, and because I've never done bulk submission before, I need to make sure all the costs are covered. But after this first submission, it's going to be yeah, I'm definitely going to get the price lower. So look out for that as well. But if you want to test it out, I would definitely implore people to get on this submission because it's going to be 45 days anyway before the at least, well, I say at least, it might be within that, but I think a lot of people, because of the way the new slab looks, they're going to get an influx of cards. So you're looking at probably around 2 months before the cards come back. So £12.50 a card, which is unheard of in this current climate in terms of the hobby being in the last 2 years. Obviously, there was a lot cheaper slabs before then, but now for people who's graded, now there is a maximum value for there as well. The maximum value is, sorry, my nose, my sinuses. Um, there is a maximum value, so the card can only be worth $250. So have that in mind. So you can't be sending in Lionel Messi autos on that scale. But again, the also good thing, a lot of the people who, especially in the UK, we have these low end cards that and just we wouldn't ever send them to PSA. So it's a good way of getting in. And just think, like, all the cards that you get from breaks, all the cards that have just been sat somewhere, £12.50 to grade, plus the few quid that you spent on acquiring that card, even if it was maximum, let's say maximum of tenner. If you sell it for 30 quid, 40 quid, you're in profit, and that's nothing to a slab. 30, 40 quid for a slab. I think that's quality. So I'm very much going to be not pushing it because again, that's a lot of cards to come. I'm gonna get. I would expect for me on that first run probably about 400-500 cards. That's a lot of cards. That is a lot of cards. But for what I'm looking for in a grading card company, CSG tick pretty much all the boxes. It's the price is right. The slabs look good. The labels look good. They've got experience as being graders, like decades of experience of being graders. Uh, the someone mentioned Fanatics deal. Their CSG are the official authenticator of eBay. Like all the signs for them are really, really good as them being the ones to at least try and rival PSA. I would still say PSA over anything. But I think they could take, depending on how BGS react and how quickly they get their turnaround times lower. In 6-7 months, they could be up there at least second or third in there. Like I said, they might not be. It really depends on their turnaround times and how they take the new influx of cards that I expect them to get. But for me, I'm definitely going to be sending. I'm sending 20-30 myself. So that 50 minimum is going to be easy to do. £12.50 a card. Yeah, it's CSG. CSG. Forgot what it's, certified sports guarantee, I think they're called. But the slabs are really good. Let me see if I can. Right. Oh, my nose. Let's see if I can. Bear with me, guys. Right, so for those who don't know what CSG is, this is CSG. Now, personally, I love this slab. kind of SGC in there. They're taking it, but if it works and they do better than what I've actually used this image before, this sports background image on a number of like social media posts. You've probably seen my posts and stole it. So this is the new label. The slabs are so nice. The slabs are like the slab design is just honestly I can't until you've got it in your hand. It is just it's such more of a more comfortable fit in your hand. I love them. And I genuinely do think, and this is for my own purpose as well, I think SGC are going to be, like I said, a lot bigger than what they are now and could be a lot bigger than other grading card companies. Will I rival them? Will I put them above PSA? I don't think so, because I just think PSA have got a lot more resources to do more, and I think PSA will elevate as well. But CSG will be up there for sure. For sure. £12, you can't go wrong. And like I said, in the next submission I do, it should be cheaper than that. I may even be able to get it to £11 a slab, which is ridiculous. But again, the maximum is $250 per slab, so you can't be sending big cards on this. So, but the pricing is not too bad. And they do obviously do other services, so like the Express, which is I think back within 7 days, is only $30. So again, I'm once I get this first lot back, once I get the first lot back, I'll then be doing the other services as well. For people, crack it. Yeah, the max value is going to be an issue for people. Well, you've got quite a lot of or you collect higher end cards, Leon. But I think a lot of the guys in the UK, our cards are around that level in terms of a good card. So I don't think so. For us, I think it's okay. It's especially good for the new people, especially for the newbies. It's good to test it out to get something in a label. Because there's so many people that can't afford PSA. And I'm not saying can't afford it is like they're fucking please sir, can I ask for more? Like is in relatively to the card they got, it's not really that expensive. Sorry, it's expensive compared to the card that they have. So they can never, unless they've got those bigger cards. There's no point in using PSA. So a lot of people don't have PSA slabs unless they obviously buy them. I think the new label is better, but I feel it looks a bit old fashioned. Reminds me of a BCC. Oh, GMA. Oh, that's a blow. That's a blow. GMA. I know what you mean though, but that's still harsh. Is that so? SGC don't CSG are not doing subgrades anymore because apparently the uptake was only 20% in subgrades. I think if it gets a CSG 10, then they do subgrades. So they'll do it if it says 10, 10, 10, basically. If you get a perfect one, they'll do subgrades. So as Aiden said, no subgrades either, which to me is a massive bonus. So again, it probably relates to a lot of people didn't choose it at the time, which is why they're saying only 20% uptake it. But I like the subgrades, but because again, if you were to crack, it's easy. Okay, corners are good. Corners are 10. Send it to PSA. But I actually like it without as well. I do like it without. So I didn't think I would, but I actually do. And like I said, I just need some in hand to actually see. But yeah, I like it. I like it. So this is definitely where the conflict will come is subgrades. People are saying they want subgrades, they don't like subgrades. Will you do a CSG submission in April or yes? So that will be this submission the 1st April to the 12th of April CSG. Again, this is the trial for it to see if there's interest, to see what the process is like. I've got to sign up. I've got to do a number of things. But the you can send me cards for CSG from this Friday, and they'll go with the other submissions, obviously different directions, on the 12th of April. So yeah, absolutely, I'm sending 20, and I can't wait. What a CSG like for stickers? No, I've only graded 3. It was 3 Neymars, and they all got 8s. So I don't really know because it's not a process that I'm gonna cut this off again. Oh, I did it again. Wrong one. Because I've only used them once. I can't give a definitive answer on how good they are with certain things. All I can say is relatively grading a card is a similar grading scale. They just seem, like I said, more tougher than PSA in some with some regard. But I also need to go through the process a number of times myself before I can give that final opinion. I've only done it once, whereas PSA SGC I've done twice a week for the last 8 months, 9 months. It's only recently. It's only the last month because I've closed to redo the website. I've not done one every 2 weeks. So yes, unfortunately I can't really answer that. But that's why we're doing this trial. It's a lot easier doing a trial at £12.50 than it is at £89. So I would personally suggest giving it a go, even if you're just sending one, just to try what the whole process is. So these are for people who don't grade, never graded. Try it out with this service. So whether it's, like I said, using myself, whether you go direct, but using me, well, you can't go direct if you send in one. But if you wanted to try out the process, see what the slabs are like, this is the perfect opportunity to do that because it's only £12.50. Like there's no prices like that in any other grading card company. So if you just wanted to see what it was like having a graded card, see the process, what it was like to come through me, and the information that you get, and the updates and whatnot, I would try. I would try it. I would try it out, and that's the only time I'll actively pushing. But I'm pushing for people to see what the company's like, to see whether they would want to use them in the future. 4 or 5 figure cards are harder to move anyways. They are just pieces. Okay. What are... Oh no, just answered that. Oh man, those look amazing. Serious question. Would you do those, or SGC need to be brought down to? So the ones that I'll be sending to SGC Express, because I am going to still use SGC, because I love SGC. I really value SGC. Probably a bit more expensive than that $250 tier. And again, you've got to weigh up. So SGC, CSG, CSG, SGC. Even let's start again. SGC. It's going to take between 2 weeks and 5 weeks to get your cards back, depending on what level you use. So whether that's express with 10 working days, whether it's regular, about 5 weeks. About 5 weeks, maybe less. I'm waiting on. I've got 127 card submission. I'm due. Well, I'm not due back. It should be coming back within the next few weeks compared to when I sent it. Then you go to CSG. So then CSG, I have no idea if they're going to stick to their timescale, which is already 45 months. So that's 45 weeks, 45 months. Imagine. That's like PSA. Well, actually, technically, yeah, 2020. Jesus. 2020 is not 45 months away. What are you on about, Aaron? Anyway, see, my mind's gone. This is where I need food. I've got a chicken parmigiana waiting for me. I say waiting for me. My missus is she got COVID, so she's in bed, so I have to do it myself. Anyway, the CSG is 45-day turnaround. That's what they're saying now. I've not gone through. The last time they told me that, it was more than that. So if you're wanting your cards back within the next 2 months, I probably wouldn't say CSG. I would say use SGC. If you're not bothered and you just want something in a slab, I would say CSG to test them out because we know what we're getting with SGC. We know the turnaround times. We know roughly kind of what grades we're gonna get. We know what they look like in the slabs. We know what they sell for. So I would go. So we know SGC. I'm testing it out myself, like I said, with 20 slabs of my own, just to see, look and feel, see what different cards grade at. Hopefully get one of the tens, and then yeah. Do you take Pokemon? I will be taking Pokemon. Yes, from the 1st of April, I will be taking Pokemon. I don't know, but I will be definitely. Ah, nice one, FC breaks. Yeah, absolutely, mate. That's quality. Thank you. There was actually quite a lot of interest in SGC, CSG. Fuck hell, CSG. Yeah, CSG. And I think again, price point and the look. I think that's what's gonna get a lot of people. And when these first ones come back in hopefully 45 days from the 12th of April. Actually no, let's say 50 days from the 12th of April because it has to get there. Um, I think that's gonna get a lot of interest after that. So that's why I want to get some slabs in now. Because for then again we got the World Cup coming up, which is just going to be absolutely huge, and we got that in November. So if you can get a number of slabs built up by then, that's my aim. Like again, my personal aim. It's not about who to grade with, whether you do it yourself or not. My personal aim is to have a number of slabs by the World Cup. Actually, by the national, I'm trying to go to the national. I don't know anyone else going to the national. Um, Trying to go to the national this year. So I want a lot of slabs by the time by the time the national is, and also the World Cup. So, any update on the first economy tier? So the first is weird. So there was three um, sets of cards on the economy tier. One's coming back this week. One's in grading. One's in assembly, and they were all sent at the same time. It's weird. I don't know why they're all in such different stages, but I know yours is not in the one that's about to come back. Yours is in the one that's in assembly, I believe. So wise words from Leon Compton Football Club. Buy the card, not the slab, as a collector. If you're an investor, buy PSA. If you're a flipper, use SGC. That's literally as simple as that. Yeah, makes sense. Just got into the hobby and sent some cards to MGC and wish I did it now. I mean, like I said, with MGC, it always depends on why did you send to MGC and what are you expecting from them. MGC in the grand scheme of things are so new, so they're not going to get the value even though some of them do. And like I said, it depended. Sometimes it's dependent on what the card is. They're getting a lot of slack for being a new company. They're going to go through some rough patches. They're going to go through a lot of change, but they're doing good things. So, like I said, I'll keep my eye on them definitely. And it's a British company, so I'm always gonna champion them and celebrate them. And I definitely wish them well. From the first of Leon, you've got to go, man. You've got to go. I'm definitely gorilla ship. Gorilla ship is it's sounding like it's a wild night. He's booking a limo for one of the nights. It's absolutely going to be crazy. Absolutely, I can tell. I can tell it's going to be a crazy night. So actually put me over the edge. I was debating going to the national, and then Christian was like, yeah, I'm gonna hire a limo. We're gonna have a mad night. And I was like, I'm there. I'm there. So yes. So if you're going, Leon, you've got to go, man. You've got to go, and I will definitely go. It killed me to see the Henri Auto in an FGC slam. See, that was where I'll definitely, because he's a Spurs fan as well. Like Thierry Henry does not belong in the MGC slab. Definitely. Anyway, might want to withdraw your sponsorship. I'm not sponsoring him. So that's easy. That's easily done. The grading process go to different areas. Group subs go on to different people, and so on. So the one stuck in Armageddon is different groups of graders compared to the new ones. Okay, just got uh, just got into the hobby and thought it was the easiest place, and it is. And this is also you didn't do like there's no way you did wrong. Like it's everything's a learning curve. Like if I could and I have give lessons on everything that I got wrong when I first. I'm not going to SGC. It's not wrong, but the things I learned in the beginning were harsh lessons. I wasted a lot of money on doing a lot of things. Like everything's a learning curve, but I think you need to. It's just staying true to what it is, what you're doing. Why do you collect what do you collect? Why are you trying to flip that card? What is your purpose of getting something? Like I'm wavering now. Just CSG. So so this is gonna be like I'm gonna do 10 more minutes. I'm gonna do 10 more minutes. So if you've got any questions about grading, anything about what I've said, please ask them now. And we'll go through the questions. If not, I will go off and have my chicken parmigiana with cheese and nothing more potatoes. 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 Oh. CSG bulk, can autos be submitted to? Yes, it's an additional £2. So CSG off, it's going to be an addition. Yeah, it's going to be an additional £2, but you can make. That's fine. Again, that price will come down on the next submission once I've fully worked out the process and all the costs involved. But yeah, £2 extra, and it's done. I am scared to go because I might spend way. Well, yeah, you definitely don't want to go with me because I will encourage you spending, Leon. That's 100% certain. So I'm looking to go from I think it starts on the 27th. I'm looking to go from the 26th to the 1st of August, I believe. So I'm looking to go for the full time, Atlantic City. Woo! Thank you, mate. I really think I'm getting it. And I hope now because I've got so much to do in the next like 2-3 days. I cannot get COVID. I cannot like have a day off. So hopefully I have it out. She's had this is she's had she had Friday off, Monday off. She's off tomorrow. Oh Jesus, I'm David. I thought it was Tuesday. Oh, it's Tuesday today. I thought it was Monday today. It's Tuesday today. She's off tomorrow as well, but she should be well enough for Thursday, I think. So thank you, mate. Well, I'll pass on the good wishes. How much? Someone asked about PSA. How much for Express, Super Express? So through me, actually, what's my new pricing? Express is PSA Express is £89 per card. Not with a pre-grade. And no, sorry. That's wrong. Regular is £89. Express is £134. And Super Express is £267. So my pricing for anyone who's been on it before, used me before, the only price that has remained the same is the regular tier, £89. Because funny enough, when I was doing my pricing, that was the only one that was priced correctly. The economy used to be £50. It's now £44. £44.50. Again, these don't include pre-grades. Tickets were £50. They're now £44.50. Super Express was £260. It's now £267. So £267 is Super Express. And yeah. Let me go on to comments. How much is a PSA submission? So the cheapest one, if there are slots available, is economy, and that's on a lottery basis. Well, it's going to be a waiting list for me, but it's on a waiting list basis, and that's £44.50 a card. No pre-grade. Then it goes up to regular, which is 89. And by the way, the prices of PSA will come down. This is just the prices that they got at the moment, but they will come down in a few months' time. I do believe that. So like I said, it is expensive. So if you are sending a card on there, it needs to be a higher end card. Express regular is £89. Express is £134 per card. Super Express is £267 per card. There is also walkthrough as well, which is it's only at PSA for a day. How long do you think it will take for the economy to be assembled and shipped? No idea, mate. These are the first ones that the first ones that you submitted on was the first tier that I sent, so I literally have no clue. I'll just wait for it to be shipped, and then it'll give me an idea. Okay, I'll ship it on this date. It'll be back on this date. Because again, going by other tiers, sometimes it spends longer in one tier than it does another. So I can't really comment. But in terms of what other people who sent it a few weeks earlier than mine have said, is that it's taken them about 60 days for them to send it to come back. Thanks, Sarah. This has been amazing. Cheers, mate. Thank you. How is F1 doing in the UK? Don't tell me that rescued. Don't tell me that. Honestly, this is my girlfriend. What she said, it started with a scratchy throat, and then it just developed from there, and a no sinuses. But so I'm sending my England versus Denmark semi-final ticket. How is F1 doing in the UK? What in terms of the new product? I mean, F1's flying. I mean, if that's what you mean. If you mean in terms of product, it's flying out. Any F1, I grade quite a lot of F1 as well. It's not stopping. That's for sure. Very excited to see the Bellingham grade. Yeah. I'm already at grading like in 3 weeks. One of the sub in assembly. Yeah. Like I said, that's same as me, Leon. Ish. Well, what am I? I can't even remember what I mean. Yeah, because I then said a few weeks later on economy, and I think one's in grading, but the rest are in research and ID. Thank you, Erin. You've answered every question I was going to ask. Hey, no worries. That's one, Joe. As always, message me if you need anything else. Happy to help. Yeah, what is Hobbybox? I can't remember. I think it was the Hobbybox is because I'm in a chat with a few guys who they're big on F1, and they actually do quite one. I forgot what his name is. F1. Oh, my phone's dead. Damn it. F1 collector does box breaks of it. Apologies. I don't know if you're probably not watching anyway. I think his name's Mark with a C. He does F1 box breaks in the UK. I think he might have some up now. Excuse me. But I think it's like $3.80 a box. I think that's in pounds, but I don't know. F1's not my forte, so not yet anyway. I watch it and I love F1, but I don't collect. Any chance you breaking your immaculate case soon? I want to. Mark Holden, that's the guy. On Instagram, big on F1. So look him up if anyone's interested in breaks. If you want his Instagram name, I don't know if anyone's got it, but please put it in the chat. I think there's a few other guys. I think BB breaks as well. They seem to get a bit of F1. They're on Facebook and Instagram. I will start buying into F1 breaks soon. I have to finish paying for this website first. Jesus. Hopefully submitted a lot of F1 at the show. Sweet. It's pretty crazy in the States. And 500,000. Thank you. F1 cards helmet NFT collector. There we go. It's pretty crazy in the States, and over half of them still can't pronounce anything correctly. Nice one, Big Jizzle. I'm very happy to help. Message me on Instagram if you need anything else, mate. It may be a while because I think I'm gonna have a few messages today, but I will get back to you by tomorrow at the latest. Well, thank you. I think that's. I think we're done. I think we're done. Hopefully, it's been helpful to people. Like I said, the main aim is just to let people know why they grade cards. The process of grading cards, where to go to. There's plenty more that I could say on that. Like I said, this is I love this kind of thing, so I'm a bit of a geek for it. But takeaways are just try it. Really, really, truly. Whether it's through me, whether it's through another middle person, whether it's you do it yourself, just give it a go. And that's what in the UK. Like I said, I'll always reference the UK. We're in our infancy in this hobby. Whether it goes to the next level and we really adopt it, that's a different question. But for me, I think we do. I think it does get a lot bigger. Sorry, I'm dying now. It does get a lot. It does get a lot bigger in the UK, and we're right at the beginning. So by being involved in it now, can really help in a year, 2 years time. There's so much that's going to be happening. As I mentioned, it was I think Leon said it was the Mint Collective event in Las Vegas last week or last weekend, whatever. Watch some of those videos on YouTube. Like, the event looks insane. It looks really good. That's where, like I said, we may never get to that level in the UK, but like, it's a great aim. Cards cheaper. All the big graders there. Information on what's next for the hobby. Fanatics were there. Fanatics have obviously taken over and getting Prism, basketball. So there's so much happening that if you can understand the market, if you're in it to make money, and not everyone is, but if you are, it's still very early. It's still very early, and to understand the market now will help you in a year, in 2 years' time, when it gets really big. Now, like we said, we've got World Cup 2026, F1 absolutely flying, and there's going to be loads more. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go have my chicken parmigiana. My phone is dead, so I won't be on Instagram till it's charged. That's it. That's it. I hope you... Oh, Greg, yeah, nice one. I'm booking. So Greg's going to the national. Greg, I'm going. I'm definitely going to the national. I'm looking. I've looked to. I need to actually ask you because you told me about like going into Philadelphia or Pennsylvania and then coming into Atlantic City. So we need to have a conversation. So yeah, give me a call on Saturday, mate, and you can help me out. Still can't say Alpine correctly. Thank you, Alpine. Thank you. Should I say? Thank you thank you, Squirty. No, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad it's been well. Hopefully it's been helpful. Nice one, rescue. Nice one, guys. All right. Cheers, Leon. And it's a shame that you're leaving us because you were always a source of knowledge. But hopefully I see you at the national, and hopefully we can still connect, mate. So thank you very much for all your help over the last few weeks. And that's it. That's it. I'm gonna go. If anyone needs me, send me a message. I'm dying. I'm starting to die. And I will speak to you guys soon. So have a good one and see you soon.